hosting their own talk show with monthly and weekly slots available on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, and on irlonestar.com. Start your own podcast, create your first YouTube channel, and be on TV. Contact Lone Star Community Radio online at irlonestar.com or call the station message line at 936-647-3776.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KCCZ LP Conroe and worldwide at irlonestar.com.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
I'm Margie Taylor, your host for Conroe Culture News, and we are live streaming irlonestar.com, FM 104.5, 106.1. And this is also YouTube Live, and I did say it's on the FM channel, Conroe Culture News on Facebook. So the guest today, sitting across the table from me, is Montgomery County Judge Mark Keough and Jason Milsaps, Chief of Staff, and also Executive Director of Montgomery County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. So, this show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic, and they are located at 3033 West Davis in Conroe by Taco Bell and Conroe High School, known as one of the best places to go for people of all ages, infants to senior, weekend athletes to professionals, with a focus on natural holistic healing to not only relieve pain but achieve optimal health. Dr. Stacy Rogers holds certifications in adjusting extremities, arm, legs, hands, feet, clinical nutrition, prenatal, and pediatric care. If you are a new patient, it's only $37, and it all gets donated back to CASA, Children Under the Child Welfare System. That's a good thing. Tuesday, July 16th, so a couple of weeks from now, is the annual Ladies' Night Out at Roger Stein Chiropractic. It's for all ladies, and bring some gal pals with you, some other friends, business acquaintances, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. at her office, again at 3033 West Davis. Wine tasting, door prizes, mini massages, shopping, and a lot of people you know will probably be there. So, what else is going on in Conroe? This is the last weekend for Butterflies Are Free at the Owen Theater, and it ends July 7th, which is this coming weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday is a matinee at 2 p.m., and it's a classic about a blind man living alone in an apartment against the wishes of his mother, who was very protective. And he starts a relationship with the lady next door, and of course, mom doesn't like it. It's a love story, and it's funny and emotional, and hosted by the Players Theater Company. You can get tickets at owentheater.com. This Friday, July 5th, through the next 3 weekends, ending July 21st, the Crichton Theater will present their last show of the season, Beauty and the Beast, and it's starting to be a sellout. So much so that they have just added 2 Saturday matinee performances on both Saturday, July 13th and Saturday, July 20th, and matinee is usually 2 p.m. Don't miss this, and it's a good way to stay cool indoors. Just saying. At CrichtonTheater.org. The Downtown Merchants will host their monthly Sip and Stroll on Friday, July 5th. That's this Friday, starting at 5 p.m. with live music inside and outside. Retail stores open late. Restaurants and bars have drink specials, and there's a vendor market. And that is absolutely free to attend this Friday, starting at 5 p.m. The next Thursday concert is July 11th at Heritage Park with Level 1, and they will be playing music that's a tribute to Motown. This is also free, sponsored by the City of Conroe. You can bring in food, no glass containers. You can bring in beer or wine or anything like that. Bring a blanket, chairs to sit on the grass or set up anywhere. Food trucks will be available at the park, and the music starts at 7 p.m. Thank you to the City of Conroe. Summer Art Camp is coming up Monday, July 15th through Friday, July 19th from 10 to noon at the Conroe Art League, 127 Simonton. If you haven't been in there lately, you should go in and look. They're open Tuesday through Saturdays, and they're also a cool place to go inside when it's hot outside. But they have art exhibits from people in the community, local artists, and they always have something new every month. take a tour around the globe with a fun-filled week of activities that introduce the culture and art of countries around the world. And registration is available at conroeartleague.com, and that is for 7 to 14-year-old kids. Tuesday, July 16th, is the annual Ladies' Night Out again, and just reiterating, Roger Stein Chiropractic. So a lot of stuff to do, and have a safe, wonderful 4th of July, which is coming up this week on Thursday. I know a lot of businesses are closing, but there are summer sales because it's clearance time, because then they have to make room for fall merchandise. That's just the way the calendar goes. So people are on vacation too, so watch out, be careful, and enjoy the summer and shop local. We'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break and be back to hear about the state of the county, Montgomery County.
Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Statistics show that 1 out of every 6 Texans struggles with food insecurity and hunger. And many people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables every day. The Better Living for Texans program is here to help you learn how to make healthy menu choices, save money at the grocery store, prepare quick and delicious meals, get more good nutrition in your day, and get more physical activity. Classes are fun, friendly, interactive, and free, and taught in English and Spanish. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
We are back. So sitting across the table from me is County Judge Mark Keough, and next to him is Jason Milsaps. They've had a partnership for a few years, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. Jason is the Chief of Staff for Montgomery County Judge, and also the Executive Director of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. And today things are quiet, right?
It's a good day.
It's
so
a
far.
good day. We'll see.
Hot.
It is a little hot, and it will probably remain so for a little while. So, Judge, what's going on in your world, and how did you get here to be county judge?
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, you know, it all started back in the House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. Jason came to work for me in the summer of 14. We were sworn in January of 15. And while we were there, we started to get a feel for what real government was about. And then we got a feel for what was not taking place here in Montgomery County that we felt like should take place. Little incidentals like the court being on the same page, issues having to do with open meetings, just a number of things that people would come up to me in the House of Representatives when they asked me the question, what's going on in Montgomery County? Well, we started talking about it, and long story short, we did a little research and found out that it might be worthwhile for me to try and run to be the county judge. And I have to tell you, it's been the greatest experience of my life. I love
Why?
Yes, I love what I do. I would work for 2 years for the biennium on trying to get one bill into committee, out of committee, on the floor, over to the Senate, out of committee over there, voted on and passed by the governor. I worked for 2 years on this. Every 2 weeks, we go into court and we make decisions that impact the county right now. If you're into instant gratification, this is definitely it right here, because we come up with plans, we put them together, and I love about working with our commissioners is that we are all on the same page. At the end of the day, we don't always agree on how to get there, but we're all trying to get to the same. It is, but we are trying to get to the same place. And you don't see the bickering and fighting and some of those things that used to go on, and grudge holding and that kind of stuff. It's just not worth it.
It's true, it did happen.
It doesn't serve the people. Matter of fact,
Right.
we've been called boring. Anyway, so
Yes, and Jason, you have worked with County Judge Mark Keough for a period of time.
Yeah, we're going into our 11th year together, so Been with him through his 4 years in the House and in the state legislature, and then been with him here ever since he's become the county judge. Since
You did a lot of
2019.
reading when you were in Austin, didn't
Yeah,
you?
still do.
And
a
not
day goes
for
by.
fun.
Yeah.
So, it was almost an avocation, but
Yeah.
not exactly. You
No.
stay up late and reading all that stuff so that you can interpret what's going on. Is it as heavy now?
Not near as bad. It probably is the same workload over the period of the entire year versus working in Austin. They're in session every other year
Right.
for about 6 months. So for those 6 months, it's a constant just deluge of information coming at you. But here it's very steady. It's the same pace throughout the period of the month or the year.
It's manageable.
Yeah.
Until there's an emergency.
Yeah, that
Tell me
changes.
about that.
Changes the ballgame.
Yes.
So the judge is constitutionally the chief executive of the county, but one of the roles that the county judges and mayors in the state play in the statute is that they're in charge of emergency management and homeland security functions. And the reason for that is you can't operate in an emergency by a committee or by multiple people having decision-making authority. You'll never agree on anything. And so the
It's
federal
usually for
law and
immediate
state law puts
need.
the chief executives, the president, the governor, county judge, the mayor, in charge of emergency management functions and homeland security functions in the county. Because it's such a gargantuan task, they're allowed to appoint someone to oversee those duties at the state and the national, state, and local level. So you have a FEMA director, you have a TDEM, Texas Division Emergency Management Director, and at the local level, you have the Office of Homeland Security Emergency Management that he's appointed me to oversee, in addition to my chief of staff role. So
Do they kind of function together, the two roles?
very, very similar.
Pretty much.
There's always been somebody over there in that role that reported to the chief of staff. Several predecessors ago, the chief of staff did both jobs. And then as the county grew, it became too much for one person, so they had to break it down. We have a lot of good employees at OEM. It's a large department, and we have some
So you
federally
have
funded
people
department.
you can delegate to, of
Absolutely.
course.
I couldn't do both jobs if I didn't have a deputy director who oversees operations there in that office, because I never moved my office there, so I still office in
And
the
that was
judge's
by
office.
design, because we wanted whatever issues were here before we got here, we wanted to make sure that anybody who wanted to deal with emergency management, mostly elected officials, would deal with another elected official, as opposed to dealing with just a department head out here and him having 5 different bosses. And so this has worked out great. Jason's done a great job navigating through all that with all the commissioners.
And there's been
Excellent.
a lot going on.
There has.
We've had a couple floods, a couple tornadoes, a winter storm, a pandemic. I mean, you name it, we've had it. Wildfire season was really rough on us last year. And we're not just a county-wide operation. Since a large chunk of our staff at the department is federally funded, we're a regionally responding and statewide responding jurisdiction under mutual aid agreement. So there could be something going on in our neighboring county, and we're going to be there assisting our neighbors with assets or logistics or incident management. So yeah, we're a very busy operation.
It's an important role.
For sure.
So you have, Judge, there's 4 precincts, 4
Yes.
commissioners.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the word is report to you, but you all work together
We
in
work
county
together.
commissioners court.
Texas Constitution,
Yes.
you got basically 5 entities. I'm the chief presiding officer over the commissioners court, which is comprised of myself and a commissioner from each part of the county, 1, 2, 3, and 4, north, south, east, and west. It's kind
That's
of a
right.
no-brainer. We've got 254 counties in Texas. They all operate the same way. The only difference is, depending upon the size, determines what is the actual job of the county judge. If you're in a county that's under 220,000 people, the county judge is basically in charge of budget. He does judicial work. He does judiciary type stuff. Because of our size county, 725, 750,000, according to the U.S. Census Bureau and their estimations where we're at right now, my job is purely administration. I administrate what goes on. I participate in decision-making. I participate in the budget. I work with Jason. And
It's budget
Homeland
time, isn't
Security.
it?
Yes, it is.
Start to plan for that?
It is upon
And
us.
when
We'll-
does it go
we'll
into
start
effect?
that in
October?
August. And then
October
we'll be
1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll go through it to the month of August, come up with our tax rate and whatever we need to do to fund the county. And like I said before, it is never a dull moment. I absolutely love what I do because there's always activity. And he will tell you when there's not activity, he sees me I drive him crazy in the office just when things are not going very quick. But that's just,
I would
different.
think that
But
there's always things
we
going
have
on. This is a
different-
big county.
That's right. We have, and different personalities are able to do different things. One of the reasons that I put Jason in this position is and not just as chief of staff, but Homeland Security Emergency Management, is I have watched him in 4 years in the House of Representatives. After the first year here, he's boy genius. We all know this. And,
It's true.
and I got the greatest compliment from Michael Berry the other day, and he says, man, it takes a strong leader to pick people who are smarter than him. And I thought, that's not what we're supposed to do as administrators. Here we are. We hire good people. We call balls and strikes as necessary, but we turn them loose. Jason has done a fantastic job with our Homeland Security Emergency Management. We have a 72,000 square foot warehouse, Margie, that Jason was able to put together with a group of people. It's completely stocked and with everything that we need for anything emergency, and his people are planning all the time. I believe we are the example for the rest of the state in our Homeland Security and Emergency Management, and we are ready. In this recent situation that happened with the recent flooding, they just started working on dividing in the county into sections with different people and different resources that they could all put into place when we have a hurricane. Well, we got to test that in this last flood. Obviously, it wasn't a hurricane, but we had 30-plus inches of rain in less than a week, and so obviously there was flooding and issues. And his people, and over with Jason's oversight, I got to tell you, it was pretty remarkable what we did. Then we get a little help from Ron DeSantis in Florida. Sends us 100 guys that come out here,
Really?
complete with the equipment, high water stuff, fast water rescue.
Good to have relationships with people.
Oh yeah, and then Jason has paved the way for our relationship with Texas Department of Emergency Management, and they sent two teams to us. It was fantastic. His people are the one that set up the helicopter for me to fly around in and take a look at stuff both times.
I
It
saw
was
that
great.
too.
It was really very good. But people, I believe that the people of the county understand that our emergency management and keeping them safe, we are on our game. We have a culture of deterrence when it comes to crime. There's no question about that. And you take that and you translate this over to safety with some of the other reasons for our fast growth. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
There's a lot going on.
It is.
All the time when there's not an emergency. Do you
That's
think?
right.
So the growth. Let's talk about the growth. People know when they hit Montgomery County, don't they?
Absolutely.
That it's a different environment, north, south, east, and west.
Well,
but especially going north.
In running around
from
speaking in
south.
different places, and Jason does the same, what I have found is we have many common denominators, but we really are different planets. You got South County has got a personality, North
course.
County, East County, West County.
They all have different characteristics.
But we share some things that I think bring us all together and that are really a reason for growth. Jason?
Yeah, I get to go on a speaking circuit about preparedness quite often, and just transversing the county. I'll tailor what I'm talking about based on those personalities, as Judge talked about.
Of course.
There are certain things
Who your audience
yeah,
is.
absolutely. You know your audience first, but know what their vulnerabilities are. East Montgomery County is more flat. It's going to flood. They have a flood potential threat there that we don't face in North County, but it's more hilly and it's higher. And so it's based on those things. There's different things at play. East Montgomery County, besides flood threat, may have the threats of wind damage because they're a little bit closer to the bay than the northwest part of the county. Although the northwest part of the county having tall pine trees and wind don't mix, so we'll tailor the speech and what we're talking about for the day, the topic at hand. It's good to see the growth though. If I take my emergency management hat off and go into the chief of staff role, the growth comes with some challenges, as the judge and the commissioners have been working on for quite some time to come up with a future road bond to address the mobility issues in the county. That's posing a huge challenge because now we're having to navigate the county's growth needs in road infrastructure against TxDOT's needs to grow road infrastructure that are under control. And TxDOT can't move fast enough to assist us with road building in these numbered roads. And a lot of people don't realize what constitutes a state road versus a county road. If it has a name, it is a county road. If it has a number, associated with it's a state road.
Like FM.
Yeah, anything FM 1488, 1484, 1486, those are state roads. I-45, 242,
That's right.
336, 105, state roads. We have some input in the state roads, but ultimately we're at the mercy of the state and TxDOT and their engineers and their bidders, their bidding and their vendors, their contractors to get those projects done. And so previous road bond almost 10 years ago had a lot of money emphasized towards matching TxDOT funds to get those state projects done. And they're still in the process of getting done. 105 is one of those, 1314 is one of those. Take
Painful.
forever.
Painful.
The running joke, you can drive down I-45 in 30 years, it'll be the same construction project in 30 years. It's been that way for decades.
Let's talk
That's
about
right.
242.
County roads, we move a lot faster
What's
on.
going on 242?
Oh, man, well, that's exciting. Finally, 242, we have the off-ramp from I-45 heading east on 242. As you know, if you're heading west on 242, you can take the ramp and it will take you down over the top, right by the hospital area, and will put you right down on I-45 and you can head south. But we had stubbed out when they built that, a section that was already set up to add that additional pathway, that additional road that would go east. But it's been a decade, I guess, or more, trying to get that completed. And part of the agreement that was made before we got here was that we would, if they would do certain things for us, then we would pay cash for that road. And so we've been putting money aside, we've taken it, we've put it together this last round, it's finally done. So people have brought up this issue. I was asked online about this road when we talked about it. And the Courier did an article, and they said, well, you're going to toll that again too? Well, we never tolled it to begin with. It was tolled when we got here and got the toll taken off. And the goal of this is it will be paid for, and there isn't going to be a toll on it. People will be able to get off and go head right out 242 out to East County. And it's going to be a tremendous benefit to us, no question.
Absolutely.
That's the heaviest intersection in the county. The most traffic goes through that intersection on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis than any other intersection in the county. And so that direct connector is going to be a huge improvement to mobility at that intersection and getting folks to bypass the red lights that if they're just traveling eastbound on 242. And then in future goals, I mean, we had meetings with State Representative Toth and some stakeholders from the hospitals. As you know, all our hospitals are
Right there.
concentrated right there in that area to try to alleviate traffic on 242 eastbound that's right in front of St. Luke's, getting them south to 45 and north to 45.
It's a crazy
And so
intersection.
that's the next step in the process. I mean, it's some project we'll start now and will likely, be completed decades from now as we have to go identify funding sources. Direct connectors, overpasses are wildly expensive. I mean,
Got the braided ramps.
Yeah, they're extremely expensive.
The ramps that are going to take us, if you're on I-45, you want to avoid all of those issues having to do with the intersection of I-45, the Beltway, Hardy Toll Road, all that stuff down there, 99. You'll have ramps that will bypass that on both sides. That's coming. They're working on that right now. Working in conjunction with TxDOT on that. It's Precinct 3.
We're getting ahead of it for all the traffic.
Yeah,
It's about to
yeah, because
come.
it's monumental. Like Jason said, people have started. They went to work on I-45 and they retired on I-45. It's an ongoing effort. It just never ends. And as we continue to grow, and it was stalled for a while as well, because of the mindset of some of the special interest groups down in Harris County, that has since been moved, and now we're moving forward again on it that will benefit Montgomery County. So we're working hard at it.
Well, that's good. I wanted to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because people have questions about that
They do.
all the time. So what other concerns are you working on right now?
Well, we're right in the middle of budget, and we're in the process of making sure our budgetary needs are able to fit with the road bond needs. That's an issue because we want to be able to have a road bond, and we don't want to have to raise taxes. The beauty of our environment is that our growth is such that if it continues at the way it is, and we have no reason to say that it's not going to, we can do an over $400 million road bond with little to no tax impact at all. That's amazing. Not many people can say that, but in our community, with our measure and with our
And that's
growth,
what people want to hear, too.
that's right. If it's painful to grow, but if people are coming here, we can't keep them from coming here, and they want to come here for certain reasons. They like our tax structure. They like our stable government. We have businesses that previously they were thinking about leaving.
They like the government. I think that's a big one.
It's a huge deal. I was at a meeting with a group of guys. It was a bunch of business guys. with a group called Biz Now, and there was probably a couple hundred people there. It was down at the Andarco building, and they were asking the question to each one of them, why Montgomery County? Why not Harris County? That was the question. You know the number one answer? This is no joke, Margie. I was so pleased. Each one of them said stable government. They knew you could count on it, that we weren't going to pull anything. Right now we're in the middle of new standards for development standards and for our drainage standards. And, you know, we've been kind of up and down on that. And we have a new chief engineer from Montgomery County engineer who is organizing stakeholder meetings that include not just citizens, but also include the developers, the architects, the people who have a stake in this. And we forget that these guys are also citizens, just like citizens living here. They've got their businesses here, they got their families here, and it's got to work for everybody. And the tendency is to want to make it one size fits all. And we've already shown you that doesn't work that way. You got 4 different planets. You got East County, West County, North County, and South County.
Yes,
and so what will work over in Matt Gray's area for drainage may not work over here for us over here. But what they're wanting, what the engineering typically has done is put everybody under the same standard. And standards vary on a variety of things. And we have a really, really great chief engineer that's working on that for us. And we're taking input from these people. So they appreciate that.
What about resources? How are we sitting with resources that we have in Montgomery County?
We're
Such
very
as water.
we're very lucky in that regard. With natural resources, we've an abundance of. You know, former leaders were smart enough to plan for growth far in advance. You know, with the city of Houston putting in Lake Conroe, I mean, many decades ago, that has helped.
Years ago.
That helped Montgomery County dramatically because the city of Houston owns 2/3 of the water. San Jacinto River Authority, which supplies a large chunk of water to Montgomery County residents, owns the 1/3. The lake is never been an issue. We had a little drought in 2010, 2011 that got low, but it wasn't in danger of running out of water for consumption. So that was really good for resources. When it comes to emergency resources, our first responders, we have the best in the business. I mean, we
No
are always
question.
the
No question.
envy. You know, we had the big flood a few weeks ago, and the governor was here, and the state of
saw that.
Division of Emergency Management were here. They went to the warehouse the judge mentioned, and they were in awe. I mean, there is no jurisdiction anywhere in the state that has its own stockpile of emergency resources and a warehouse such as that.
Do you have any of those resources in the 4 precincts
So
stage?
we're in the process. The courts just authorized Commissioner Gray in East County and Commissioner Riley in West County to build a satellite warehouse in
That's
their
good.
precincts
To store the resources.
to allow
Because
us
in an
to.
emergency, they need that.
We'll pre-stock them, and then the big warehouse can, just like an airport model, could hub and spoke. We could send
As
resources to them as needed to
But
keep
those,
them stocked
those
up.
are under the authority of emergency management. They just
Mm.
store them over there. They'll take direction. Certainly they'll use them as needed. But it all starts with emergency management. Starts with the judge's
Right.
office.
It's really
Understood.
beneficial to the county because, you know, when like right now with Hurricane Beryl lurking out there in the Atlantic, you know, we're watching that. If forecast models start trending by Wednesday, Thursday that it's going to impact Southeast Texas, we'll start moving resources around in the county. Right now, we'll start implementing high water rescue task forces, getting them put in place and staged, making sure all the equipment's operational, moving cots, pillows, blankets, and things for sheltering into the various precincts and getting that pre-staged.
Do you do that with the food bank too? Do you
Food
work with the
bank
Montgomery County
is huge
Food
with
Bank?
us because, you know, our stockpile of emergency supplies is somewhat the food bank's inventory as well. They keep their warehouse stocked, but a lot of water that they have in inventory is actually housed with us because we have more ground space than they do.
Right, I
and
remember
so
that
we
was an issue
we
for
work
them.
in partnership with them on those things, and they help with the supply and the shelters. If we have to start opening shelters, they'll drop ship food supplies
Same
to
with
those
the Red
shelters.
Cross. They'll use us as a distribution center.
Yeah, we're very fortunate to have what we
That's good.
have. So
You have to have a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't
Well,
had a
let me tell-
hurricane
I-
since
I-
2017.
I was just going to say this.
That's-
Jason has put together a team that they are constantly planning, whether it's with some type of natural crisis or whether it's an active shooter. Do you know we have an active shooter training center, which is
I do know that.
The
And
first
I've
in the
heard
state of Texas.
Jason's presentation,
Yes.
which is so good.
It's unbelievable.
Everybody needs to hear that.
That's right.
it's unfortunate we have to prepare for something like that, but
It is.
faced with that reality, we better be prepared than to sit on our hands and act like it's not going on around us. So, you know, the commissioner's court thought I was a little crazy at first when I wanted to turn that old dilapidated school into a training center, and The judge had got the fortunate luck of touring it before bringing it to court, and he was on board from day one. He saw the need in this, and Uvalde had just happened a few months earlier, and the county's had a special threat plan for active shooter response since 2018. We actually were the first in the state to do it. The state law has now since been changed to require counties and cities to have a plan like ours. They use ours as the template to build their plan.
That's
So
exciting.
It's amazing.
It's again unfortunate we have to do that, but
So
we
you
saw
have
the
a
need.
plan ready in
We
the
have a
county
plan?
building?
That's
and all
right.
that?
No, this is a countywide
This is-
plan,
this is-
but we train to this plan. Your plans
It's
are
over
as
in,
good.
in Grangerland where the site is,
It's
right?
in New Caney's where the training
Yeah,
center is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the old Kiefer Crossing Middle
Right.
School, and so we had the plan. We were training to the plan, and then COVID hit, and COVID kind of put a stop to all the training that was going on across the state, across the nation, but here as well. And then Uvalde happened, and we were getting together already to look at the rewrite of the plan. And a plan's only good as about 3 or 4 years, then we start rewriting it and adding to it and taking some things in and out based on best practices.
Sure.
And we realized training was an issue. And we just got lucky and stumbled into this opportunity with the school, and the court funded it with county resources for the first few months. We trained about 2,000 first responders, police officers on active shooter response there with county funds, and they weren't just local first responders. These were regional and statewide employees of other jurisdictions coming here to train.
That's cool.
And then the court asked me to go to Austin and try to secure state funding. We did. And now it's a state-funded project, and it's a statewide resource for first responders to train in.
Oh,
So,
it's a state requirement for them to come and do it.
yeah,
with
and now
us.
it is
That's
exactly.
amazing.
I can see why y'all are proud of what you do. You know, you're
this is-
changing lives.
It's landmark
making
stuff, Margie. It's
it a
landmark.
great
It's
place
cutting
to live,
edge. It really
work,
is.
stay.
Hopefully, we'll never have to use it, and that we'll
Yeah.
have created enough mindset of deterrence that they won't want to come here and cause trouble.
Well, I hope not. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app for your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That is Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Want to check out the fastest growing sport in the world? It's right here in Conroe, Texas, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a nonprofit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
And we are back. This show is sponsored by Roger Stein Chiropractic, and sitting across the table from me, we're having some discussion, is County Judge Mark Keough and his Chief of Staff, Jason Milsaps, who's also the Executive Director of Montgomery County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. So we've talked a little bit about emergency management, we've talked a little bit about roads, and we have a low crime rate in Montgomery County,
Yes,
right?
we do. Yes, we do.
What do you test that to?
Well, here's what we have. We can't help it, but we compare it to the guys south of us. We call that south of the border. That's south of Spring Creek.
I know I never say I'm
That's-
from Houston area. I just don't. It's north of Houston.
It's Houston and Harris County, and they have a different mindset. In 2000, I don't know if you know this, but in 2019, they turned over 62 to 64 conservative judges for progressive socialist mindset, easy out, we don't want you in jail, we're going to let you go kind of mindset. And I have to tell you,
Yep,
they
I
have
did know that.
that's why every day if you turn on the TV and whether it's channel 13, channel 2, whatever, it's channel 26, you continually hear about the crime that is going on in Harris County, just south of the border. This became very evident a few
The
years
border.
ago to me. Yeah, it became very evident to me. Jason and my deputy constable that works out of my office, they were coming back from Harris County, and they saw these guys in a car swerving. Margie, it was amazing. They stopped them, pulled them over. Sure enough, they had open warrants for their arrest. So they said they put them in the back of the car. They're taking them up to the jail. The one gentleman says to the other one, he says, "Don't worry, we'll be out of here in 2 hours." Jason turns around and says to him, "If you were 600 yards back that way, that'd be the case. But this is Montgomery County." They went into a panic with the expletives and the things that they were saying. This is a common question that is asked of criminals. We had a sign that I had put up right there just as you come into the county on I-45 that said, "Criminals, this is Montgomery County. We fund law enforcement. We prosecute." County Judge Keough. And that was amazing. But we have a
I know our DA always says that too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell
Yes.
you, I want to talk about that, because if you don't have a culture of deterrence, you have to have the criminals understanding that they absolutely are going to be punished if they get caught. That's part of deterrence. In other words, punishment has got to fit the crime. In other words, they have to do a value judgment. Is it worth trying to do this, depending upon the crime that the punishment that I'm going to get?
Right.
And that then is the swiftness of justice. How fast are we going to be prosecuted? And in our case, they're magistrated, and I've sat in there and I've done it. And they're magistrated in 48 hours. They're in and out, put on bail if they qualify for bail. Now we do a national background check on them, as well as a state background check on them. And that also helps us to determine whether or not they're out. You're not going to see, in general, people getting out on probation, turning around doing bad things again. We know pretty much where they've been, and people are creatures of habit. If they've done it then, they're going to do it now. And so we have created, I think, a culture of deterrence that starts with the law enforcement knowing that if they catch this bad guy, he is going to be prosecuted. And our district attorney, Brett Ligon, is as tough as they come. Thank God for Brett, because what he has done is the people know across the state that Montgomery County is very tough. But if we don't have a DA that's willing to press charges, that's a problem. But you got to also have a judiciary. Our judiciaries, our judges, whether it's district judge, county court of law judge, or special judges, or justice of the peace, every one of these people is committed to the same thing, and they're just not going to let this stuff go. And we are moving people in and out very fast. They're not getting bogged down like they've done down in south of us in Harris County. Brett Ligon told me, it was a few months ago at that particular time, Harris County, they had over 1,000 murder cases pending. He said to me, "Judge, you know how many we have here in Montgomery County?" I said, "How many, Brett?" 3. Exponentially. Sure, there's more people there, but are you kidding me? That's unbelievable.
You don't really hear about it here in Montgomery County.
But you have to have a culture of deterrence.
Sure there has been some, of course.
Well,
but
sure there are.
It just
there are, and we know that.
doesn't happen that often.
But we move them through quickly. They're not languishing, and it's just something that we have judges that they come to work and they work. That we have, I believe that our judges in our county are the best of the best. I mean this, Margie. I go all over the state.
And there's more women judges too.
I'm gonna tell you, it's amazing.
They all work collectively together.
They're tough. They're awesome. I love them.
Yep, they are.
Great,
I agree with
great
that.
to work with. But that's our law enforcement. It really is a huge boost to the community to know that we have a safe community. It's not a perfect community. We know this.
It
but
is safe.
It
you
is.
can go almost anywhere and feel pretty safe.
That's right. So that's a huge boost. Then you throw in our emergency management and homeland security into that as well, with the sheriff's office, the constables, what takes place on the lake, and the lessening of people dying on the lake because of driving their boats because of alcohol. That we've put very strict regulations in there.
There haven't been drownings.
Very few. There
Yeah.
are some, but not like it used to be.
Not like it used to be. That is absolutely
So
correct.
another test is you'll be able to watch over 4th of July. Let's see how all that works out, because you got a lot more people out there.
Dangerous time.
That's right.
Yep. Well,
So
it's
these
the
are-
same with drunk driving.
That's
That
right.
used to be a horrible thing out here, wasn't it?
That's
the
right.
number one place in Texas?
At one point in time, yeah, about 15
And
years
That's
there
ago.
were
remarkable.
billboards out all over, and
Do you know
that isn't the thing
our
anymore.
constables? They have Jason. What's the name of it when they'll have an evening, or a couple evenings in any given week where they will do nothing but go out to full force. They go out and just try and pull people off the road.
Right, no tolerance.
That's
Weekends,
right.
usually
And-
holiday weekends.
And that causes a culture of deterrence. People don't want to
Sure.
come around here. Don't go to Montgomery County, is what they say. You're going to get caught. And the guys who are the law enforcement officers down in Harris County, they'll chase them over the line. And so thankful that these people are getting caught in Montgomery County.
Right.
We'll do something about it.
Right, absolutely.
I talked to a number of those guys, and they really envy what we have up here. And it's the Lord has just blessed us so abundantly, Margie. It's unbelievable. Just thankful.
So y'all are passionate about what you do.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, it shows. It shows that you care. So citizens can get involved. They can come to Commissioner's Court and always listen.
Absolutely.
They
I
can
wish
have
they
a
would.
few minutes,
They can come make comments.
That's what I'm saying. They can get up there at appropriate times.
But here's the deal: we're required. The state requires us that we give our citizens comments, opportunity for comment. Well, we do it is on items that are on the open agenda or the consent agenda. In other words, they just can't come in here and complain about something. It's not noticed. If they comment on something that's there, we can actually interact with them during that time if we chose to, because it's been within the 72-hour notice that this is on the agenda.
Right.
Okay? So what we do is we just ask them to come if they'd like to speak on any one of those items. State your name for the record. Please understand that you've got 3 minutes to talk. Be courteous of the other people who want to speak. Commissioner Nowak or Commissioner Riley will do the timing, depending upon who's there, of the 3 minutes. If you approach the desk, please ask permission. If you approach the dais, just ask permission. And who would like to come first? Boom. We don't even make them sign up. They can just come and do it. And it's been very good. And it's
easy.
a process that works. It gives the people a voice.
And if they want to know the agenda, they can
That's right. Just go online. It's
subscribe
probably
to it.
72
I know
hours ahead of
that
time.
I get it for
Friday
years.
afternoon, late Friday afternoon, boom, you can pull it right up, and there it is, with backup to show you
right.
why we're doing what we're doing. In most cases, sometimes backup doesn't get put till Monday because they're still working on it. But the item is on the agenda, or we cannot talk about it. So, very exciting.
It's a good thing.
It's
Anybody
a
can
well-organized deal.
just show up. Okay, let's talk about the animal shelter. How did you get involved in the animal shelter?
My passion.
Yes, and the animals. Now, I don't see you with cats that much.
Well, but there are. We know for a good while we had maybe 7 or 8 cats. Right now, I think we have over 90 cats there right now. I was just looking at the numbers.
But you like the dogs.
Well, of course. The dogs obviously have got some personality, and they're definitely are more high maintenance than the cats. No question about it.
Yeah, cats like to do their own thing.
But I have to tell you, that for me has been a labor of love. When we saw what was going on, the complaints that we were hearing in the animal, and we still get them, but not anywhere near like what we used to. And just having really good people in place. And what I mean by that is we've hired some people that have come work with us from some other organizations. Our volunteer coordinator, who has got people out there with required community service working with us now. I mean, it's awesome.
You really don't hear the complaints like it.
Well, we still get them, but not anywhere near. We got them daily.
It was
previous to that.
kinda
So
crazy.
the commissioners asked me if I would kind of look into it. Well, then when we had a bunch of people come to court, they asked me, "Would you please take this over?" Thank you. Turn me loose. And so we've been able to do some.
You do the little videos.
Well, yeah, we do the videos. If you go to County Judge Mark Keough, you can see the videos that we put up for the dogs. And most of these dogs get adopted out. We put a dog in there the other day that was 10 years old, poor little guy, but it's kind of a little pit mix. But just the sweetest, gentlest dog.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and that dog had 4,500, 4,600 views. I mean, it's unbelievable. We've had people that have come from all over the place to get our dogs. But again, we had Meg on there not too long ago. They'll have a dog that the girls will put up in the office, and the dog will be hanging out with them through the day, and I'll come in there, and this dog was so nice, I'm going to take him to the office tomorrow. So sure enough, we took Meg up to the office and took pictures of her. We have a picture of her sitting, Jean Mann, who has been working with me on this. She put him at the dais in the commissioner's court behind my desk. Picture of the dog with his flop ear over. It was hilarious. But the dog got adopted, and it was very exciting. Channel 2 News did a story on it. And but we're rolling animals. Do you know that our people took 160 animals, 160 dogs, to New Jersey, to Brandywine, the area up there, and they adopted every one of them out. But it was amazing. One day while they were gone, we took in 61 more animals. One day. That's the kind of turnaround that they do. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is that we've been working very hard on an animal shelter, on a new animal shelter. Mm-hmm. We're all in agreement we need a new one. Everybody's trying to adjust their brains to the cost.
In a different area of the county?
Well, it would probably, there's a couple of different land places that we have, but we can't do it right there. There's no way we can expand there. Properties available next to us are not available for this sort of thing. They don't have sewer. And, we're on a septic system down there with all those animals, cleaning kennels every single day. It's painful, but they're doing such a good job compared to where they were, Margie. They are
That's
doing.
good news.
It really is, and there people come in, and we'll have weekends where we'll do a free spay and neutering of your animals, and of course the shots, and they're.
It used to be a bad
tech-
situation, and
Yeah.
you didn't want to take an animal to the shelter or even get one
Well,
in there because of the
And
different diseases and
the complaints that we get are most of the time are from people that want something done right now, immediate, and we cannot stay organized that way. We set up. If you want to bring a dog in, please set an appointment. Will we take him in if we have to? Probably. I'll generally get a call on something like that. What do you want to do? Take him in. Or where the dog, what jurisdiction it's picked up in, where it should go, something like that. And then of course there's just personality issues that have to do with some of the special interest groups involved. But you know what? Everybody's trying to do the right thing. Everybody just wants to take care of these animals. So the complaints, you got to give them credit, are not just around complaining. They want to see the animals taken care of. Well, we do too. That's why we're doing what we're doing, and we're trying to do it in the most cost-effective.
We have to have procedures.
That's
You
right.
can't be willy-nilly
That's
about
right,
things,
and that's exactly right. So,
you just have to have procedures in any kind of operation.
but it's
This
great.
is
I'm
the
so
way it
proud
is.
of Mark and Aaron. I'm telling you,
Good.
they faded so much heat. We got there. I remember the first time I went and sat in a room with them. Both wouldn't even look up at me. Their heads were down. They were just so beat up. It was unbelievable. We put some things in place, hired some people, got the trucks that they needed with the air-conditioned parts in the back. Can you imagine hauling dogs around this temperature, 106, 107 degrees? It's
No, you
mind-boggling.
can't carry a
No,
dog in a car
they're dead
anyway.
by the time
they
you get them.
can't sit in a car.
By the time you get them from New Caney over here, they're dead. We can't live. We're a no-kill shelter. 94,
Let me ask
95%
you,
no-kill.
has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
But if a dog is in a car, like this time of year,
Yeah.
can you break open the window legally and get the dog out
A citizen cannot, but you can call the sheriff's department, and they
immediately and
They
they'll
will
come?
come out with the fire department.
personal
And
property.
they'll make determination for the safety of the animal.
Yeah, I thought.
And then
I
it
thought you
is
could.
animal cruelty.
Yeah.
So it's a crime to do so. It's just it's very similar crime to leaving a child in the car in that situation. But yeah, the officer will make every attempt to find the owner so they can not make forced entry into the vehicle.
yeah.
But at
That's
some
just
point in
sad.
time, they'll have to make
People
the
that
call to
leave.
break the window.
Either one, a child or a dog
Oh, no.
in the car. You can't do that.
There
It's
was
too
there
hot.
was a couple children saved from a locked car the other day. The car was running but didn't have adequate air conditioning, and they were hot and locked in, and they had to make forced entry in the car and save the kids. And now the parents are facing child neglect charges. So it's that time of year where 5 minutes in a car without adequate air conditioning or even any air conditioning, the car is going to go up to 140 degrees very quickly.
I
and
remember,
it's dangerous. Yeah.
Constable Rowdy Hayden did some videos
Yep.
years ago with that,
Yeah.
talking about that.
It's extremely dangerous. Anybody, not just children or dogs, but
Anybody.
anyone for that
No,
matter, to be
absolutely,
left
because
in
they
a
were
car.
showing how they would sit in
Correct.
the car and how hot it got.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
I remember
Imagine
that.
being a child strapped into a car seat waiting on mom. Car goes off. No AC. Unbelievable.
I
Unconscionable.
can't imagine. I
No.
can see where sometimes people would forget, but that's why they say leave something back there that you have to get out of the back seats here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what have we not talked about that you would like to get in?
Well, part of our growth, there's a couple things I think we need to at least mention. Our school systems.
Oh, yeah.
Our public school system, do you know that if you add them all up, our state, we have a 93.9% versus the state average of 89% of graduation rate. We've got Montgomery alone has got 97%. Conroe's got 96.4% graduation rate. That is amazing. If you figure the Conroe Independent School District's got 60,000 kids in it.
It's now
72,000, yeah. And so we have a high graduation rate, so our school systems are drawing people. But another thing that we really don't think about is our family values. Montgomery County is about family values, and it concerns me when various groups and whatnot want to undermine those values. Margie, do you know that we're not just a safe place, but that we have on weekends over 425 places of worship where people go to church. And what do they get from church? They get virtuous things. They get things that want to make them do the right thing. And when the community has virtue, it guarantees its freedoms. Because you've got to manage yourself. You can't be managed by just so many laws. If I really need a law in place that says don't run over your neighbor's mailbox, if I have virtue and I'm doing the right thing, I won't do that. You see what I'm saying? And you remove that type of mindset from a community, and I mean literally, and I say this as literally as I can, all hell breaks loose. It's amazing. And I'm so concerned that we keep that. I put over the commissioners' court. We hesitated because we saw some of the commissioners and legislators, they were waiting for approval by the court and whatnot. I just came to the place this last year. I put In God We Trust right over the dais. Not a word was said. All of our sheriff's cars have it. Our constable's cars have it. His cars have it. No OEM. In God We Trust on the back of that. And so those are things that recognize
That's where it starts.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's where it starts.
That's
And
right.
I remember during COVID times, you did something about allowing the churches to congregate,
Oh
didn't
yeah,
you?
absolutely, sure did.
I recall that.
We closed for 17 days. Remember, they said flatten the curve. So all we did was watch the numbers from day one that we closed, and how many were in the hospital, and how many were sent home. And any given day, it was 4 to 6% in the hospital. They were all for observation. And none of them at that time really had incubators. There was 1 or 2 outside the area. But I have to tell you, and so when we saw that, we said, man, this is killing us. And we determined you cannot have a healthy community without a healthy economy. Come on, Governor, we need to go. And it became a little uncomfortable arguing with the governor. Because I got the greatest respect for him, and he's doing such a good job. But that was a time where none of us knew what to do. We'd never been in this before. Truth is stranger than fiction. Montgomery County came out of it before anybody else.
I was going to say, it moved forward.
And came out swinging, and
Correct.
We've never stopped. And, who can project something? That's just a God thing. I do believe that. Truth is stranger than fiction. We couldn't even make this stuff up, what took place during that time. But I've got my team, the people that were with me when we made the decision to close. It was so funny, Margie. We're sitting in this room and we got law enforcement officials, chief of staff, commissioners, everybody in this room to make a decision on whether or not we were going to close. And they were all looking at me. And I'm thinking this is going to be a group decision. This is no joke. And,
It's you.
And they looked
It's
at
on
me.
you.
And I said, do you expect me to make this decision? And they all just shook their heads, yeah. All right, let's go. I got Jason, I got another commissioner. We went in back and we hashed it out and came out and we closed. And as soon as we could, we opened back up. Another thing that we learned during that time period in terms of family values is that people were created for community.
Yes.
They need to be together. Let me tell you what we have seen across the country and the amount of things that have taken place in isolation. God never intended us to be isolated.
No.
And then you isolate people away from the church. No, man, church, after we were closed for, I think, a total of 3 weeks and came out and we just opened up, and we opened up the churches everywhere, and we just started
Quiet
rocking.
time.
That's
There
right.
were no events. There was nothing going on.
Kim and I were sitting in traffic at 1488 and 45 not too long ago. And man, the traffic was so bad, it was unbelievable. It was just awful. And I said, Kim, remember when COVID was? Aren't you thankful for activity in traffic? Let's go. And that's because, man, it was surreal. Remember that, Jason? It was unbelievable.
It was.
But anyway, here's where we're at. We came out okay.
I am very glad that you guys both came on together to share some of the things that are impacting our community.
Yes.
And we do have Commissioners Court tomorrow.
That's right,
Start
9:30.
9:30, and you can come in and just listen. You don't have
Watch
to be
us
an
on
active
TV,
participant.
watch us online.
Yes, you can go online. You can go to mctx.org, and you drill down to
Just go to the C's,
County
Commissioners Court,
Judge
agenda.
Court. Yes, it's just easy to navigate.
Yeah, yeah.
And listen in or show up, and
Sure.
if you have a concern with the agenda, which the agenda is posted,
Sure.
you can come in and listen. If you have a concern and you want to speak, just wait till
Sure.
you ask them to come up.
Yeah, which we
And
will at the
it's
very
easy.
beginning. So
Anybody can do that.
It's easy to do. It's user friendly.
It's user friendly. That's correct. So we look forward to hearing all the wonderful things that you guys keep doing, and hopefully we don't have any emergencies coming forward. You know,
Absolutely.
they keep predicting an active season, so we'll
Already
see
shaping
what
up
that
to be very
looks
active, so.
like.
You hear active season, and then you hear about issues having to do with drought. I mean, you have this. It's
Which way is
who knows?
it? One thing we
At
do
the
know,
end of
it's
the
going
day.
to be summer, and
That's
it's
right.
going to be warm.
And
So
it's
that's
already
what
there.
we know.
That's right.
Thank you both very much. This show is
Thank
sponsored
you,
by
Margie.
Roger Stein Chiropractic, and we will check in with everybody again next Monday.